Thanksgiving dinner, 2024. My dad looks across the table at me and says, "You know what your problem is? You're not loyal. You've changed jobs 3 times in 5 years. Back in my day, you stayed at a company, you worked your way up. That's how you built a career." My mom chimes in, "And you rent. You're throwing money away. We bought our first house at 26. You're 31. What are you waiting for?" My aunt adds, "And you're always on that phone. If you just focus, save your money, stop buying coffee every day, you'd be fine. You just need discipline." I'm sitting there, nodding, smiling, thinking there is no way to explain to them that every single piece of advice they just gave me is wrong. Not wrong because they're bad people. Wrong because the world they're giving advice for doesn't exist anymore. The rules changed. Nobody told them. And now they're teaching me to play a game that ended 30 years ago.
Wait a minute! Who are you?
My name is Mike and I love my parents, but their financial advice almost kept me poor. If you've ever sat through a family dinner where someone told you to just work hard and you'll be fine, hit that subscribe button, because I'm about to show you why their advice doesn't work anymore and what actually does. Let me tell you about 2 people, me 5 years ago, and my friend Rachel. We both graduated college in 2014. Both had similar amounts of student debt, around $35,000. Both got entry-level jobs making about $42,000. Both came from working-class families with parents who wanted the best for us. Here's the difference. I listened to my parents' advice. Every word of it. Did exactly what they said. Rachel listened, smiled, then did the opposite. 5 years later, I was stuck. Same job, same salary, basically. Up to $48,000 after 5 years. That's a 14% increase. Barely kept up with inflation. Still renting, still in debt. Felt like I was doing everything right, but going nowhere. Rachel was thriving. She'd changed jobs 3 times, was making $71,000. That's a 69% increase in 5 years. Had $12,000 saved, was investing, had paid off half her student loans, living her life. I remember thinking, what is she doing that I'm not? Then I realized she wasn't doing more, she was ignoring the advice I was following. So let me walk you through the 5 pieces of advice my parents gave me, show you why they worked for them, why they don't work now, and what actually does. Advice number 1, stay at your company, be loyal, work your way up. My dad worked at the same manufacturing plant for 32 years. Started on the line, worked his way up to supervisor, got raises every year, sometimes small, sometimes decent, but steady. By the time he retired, he was making $68,000 a year. Good pension, good benefits. The company took care of him because he was loyal. So when I got my first job out of college, he told me this is where you build your career. Don't job hop, that looks bad. Employers want loyalty. Work hard. Prove yourself. They'll take care of you. I listened. I stayed at that company for 4 years, worked hard, got good reviews. Every year I got a raise. Year 1 to 2% raise. $840 more per year. Year 2 to 3, 2.5% raise. $1,075 more. Year 3 to 4, 3% raise. $1,320 more. After 4 years, I was making $45,235. I'd gotten $3,235 in raises total. Thought I was doing great. Then I talked to Rachel. She'd left her first job after 18 months. Went to a competitor, they offered her $52,000, a $10,000 jump. I was shocked. "You can do that?" She laughed. That's how it works now. Companies don't reward loyalty, they reward leaving. 18 months later, she left that job for another $161,000. Another $9,000 jump. Another 18 months, she jumped again, $71,000. In the same time I got $3,235 in raises by being loyal, she got $29,000 in raises by leaving. Same industry, same experience, different strategy. Here's what my dad didn't know. His company had a pension. They had a reason to keep him. My company has a 401k. They don't care if I stay or leave. His company had unions, negotiated raises. My company has market rates. If I don't negotiate, I don't get paid. His company valued loyalty because training was expensive. My company can replace me in 2 weeks. The game changed. Loyalty is punished. Movement is rewarded. My dad's advice made sense for his world. It's financial suicide in mine. Advice number 2, buy a house as soon as possible. Rent is throwing money away. My parents bought their first house in 1989. They were 26 and 24. Saved up $8,500 for a down payment. Bought a 3-bedroom house for $87,000. Mortgage payment was $640 a month. My dad was making about $32,000 a year. The mortgage was 24% of his gross income. Comfortable. They paid it off in 22 years. That house is now worth $340,000. They made $253,000 in profit just by living there. So when I told them I was renting, they lost it. You're throwing away money. Every rent payment is gone forever. A mortgage payment builds equity. You need to buy. I tried to explain. Mom, houses in my city start at $425,000. I'd need $85,000 for a 20% down payment. I have $4,200 saved. She said, well, save more. Stop eating out. We made sacrifices. Here's the math she didn't do. I'm making $45,000 a year. Take home about $2,900 a month. A $425,000 house with $85,000 down means a $340,000 mortgage. At 7% interest, that's $2,260 per month. Plus property tax, $380, plus insurance, $240. Plus maintenance, let's say $200 average per month. Total cost of homeownership, $3,080 per month. My take-home pay is $2,900. I can't afford the house. Literally, mathematically impossible. I can rent a 1-bedroom apartment for $1,400 a month and have $1,500 left for everything else. Or I can buy a house I can't afford and be bankrupt in 3 months. My mom bought a house for 2.7 times her household income. I'd be buying a house for 9.4 times my income. She got a mortgage at 9% interest, but her payment was manageable. I'd get a mortgage at 7% interest and the payment would drown me. Her advice worked because houses were affordable. My reality is houses are not affordable. Renting isn't throwing money away. It's the only option that doesn't destroy me financially. But she'll never understand that. Because in her world, houses cost $87,000. Advice number 3, work hard and you'll get ahead. My dad was big on this. He'd say I worked 50-hour weeks, came in early, stayed late, never called in sick. That's how you get noticed. That's how you get promoted. And it worked for him. His boss saw him working hard, gave him opportunities, more responsibility, more money, merit-based, clear path. So I did the same thing, worked 50-hour weeks, answered emails at night, worked weekends when needed, went above and beyond, thought this is how you prove yourself. After 3 years of this, my performance review was excellent work. Keep it up. My raise was 2.5%. I was confused. I'm working harder than anyone else here. My manager said we appreciate your dedication, but raises are tied to budget. It's not personal. I looked around. The people getting promoted weren't the hardest workers. They were the best talkers, the best at networking, the ones who made themselves visible, not the ones staying late finishing work. Rachel figured this out faster than me. She worked hard, but she also talked about her work. She sent update emails to her boss highlighting wins. She had coffee with people in other departments. She made sure people knew her name. When promotion time came, they thought of her, not because she worked harder, because they saw her working. There's a difference. My dad's hard work was visible. He was on a factory floor. Boss could see him working. My hard work is invisible. I'm at a computer. Could be working or could be on Reddit. Nobody knows. So I have to make it visible, which feels like bragging. But it's the game. Hard work alone doesn't get you ahead anymore. Hard work plus visibility does. My dad's advice was incomplete, and following it kept me overlooked. Advice number 4, don't take on debt except for a house. My parents are terrified of debt. Credit cards are evil. Car loans are traps. If you can't pay cash, you can't afford it. This made sense for them. Interest rates in the 80s and 90s were 12 to 18% on credit cards. Devastating. So they paid cash for everything, saved up, bought used cars with cash, never carried credit card balances, stayed out of debt, and it worked. They built wealth slowly and safely. So they told me same thing, no debt, pay cash, save up. But here's what they didn't understand. I had $35,000 in student loans at 6.8% interest. They didn't have student loans. College cost them $3,200 a year. They worked summer jobs and paid it off. I couldn't work my way through college. It cost $24,000 a year. I had to borrow. They told me pay it off as fast as possible. Throw every extra dollar at it. So I did. For 3 years, every extra dollar went to student loans. I got the balance down to $22,000. Felt good. Then I learned about investing. My company offered 401k match, 5% match. I wasn't contributing because I was throwing everything at loans. I did the math. My loans are 6.8% interest. The market averages 8 to 10% returns, plus my company match is instant 100% return. I'm losing money by paying off loans instead of investing. Rachel had been investing from day one while making minimum loan payments. After 5 years, she still owed $27,000 in loans, but she had $18,000 invested. Her net worth was negative $9,000. I owed $22,000 in loans. Had $2,400 invested, my net worth was negative $19,600. I paid off more debt, but I'm poorer than her because I followed my parents' advice to avoid debt at all costs. Their advice made sense when debt was 18% and investment returns were 12%. In that world, pay off debt first. In my world, debt is 6.8% and investment returns are 10%. The math says invest. But they'll never agree with me because to them, all debt is evil. Even when the math proves otherwise. Advice number 5, save money by cutting small expenses. My mom loves this one. She sees me buy a $4 coffee and says if you made coffee at home, you'd save $1,400 a year. That could be a vacation, or a car payment, or savings. And she's not wrong about the math. $4 per day, 5 days a week, 50 weeks a year is $1,000. But here's what she misses. Cutting coffee doesn't fix my problem. My problem isn't that I spend $4 on coffee. My problem is I make $45,000 in a city where the cost of living requires $65,000. I could cut every luxury, no coffee, no eating out, no subscriptions, no fun. I'd save maybe $3,000 a year. I'd still be broke, just more miserable. Rachel figured this out too. She didn't focus on cutting expenses. She focused on increasing income. She negotiated her salary every time she switched jobs. She asked for raises. She took on side projects that paid. In 5 years, she increased her income by $29,000. That's $2,400 extra per month. I saved $250 per month by cutting expenses. She made an extra $2,400 per month by increasing income. We're not playing the same game. My mom's advice to cut small expenses made sense for her. She was a stay-at-home mom. She couldn't increase income. Her only lever was cutting expenses. My lever is income. I'm college educated in a growing industry. I have skills people will pay for. Cutting coffee is optimizing the wrong variable, but she'll never see it that way because in her world, women didn't negotiate salaries. They stretched budgets. Different game. Different strategies. Here's what happened when I finally stopped following their advice. I was 28, stuck at $48,000, still renting, still in debt. Frustrated, Rachel sat me down and said, "You're following a playbook from 1985. It doesn't work anymore." She showed me what she'd done. I decided to try her way. Month 1, I updated my resume, started applying to other companies. Not because I hated my job, because that's how you get raises now. Month 3, I got an offer, $62,000, a $14,000 jump. I felt guilty, like I was betraying my company, but I took it. My dad said, "You're making a mistake. You're starting over. You'll regret this." I didn't regret it. My new job was better and I was making $14,000 more. 18 months later, I did it again. Found another opportunity, $74,000, another $12,000 jump. My parents thought I was unstable. Job hopping, red flags for employers. But employers didn't care. They saw my growing skill set and experience. 3 years after I stopped following my parents' advice, I'd gone from $48,000 to $74,000, a $26,000 increase. If I'd stayed at my original company being loyal, I'd be making maybe $52,000. I'd have $22,000 less per year. Over a decade, that's $220,000 I'd have left on the table because of loyalty. I started investing even with student loans. Put 5% into 401k to get the company match. Took the free money. After 2 years, I had $8,400 invested, plus employer match, about $12,000 total. Yes, I still have student loans, $19,000 remaining, but my net worth is negative $7,000. If I'd paid off loans first, like my parents said, I'd have $14,000 in loans and $1,200 invested. Net worth negative $12,800. I'm $5,800 ahead by ignoring their advice. I didn't buy a house. I kept renting, saved the difference between what I'd pay for a mortgage and what I pay in rent. Built my emergency fund to $11,000. Could I buy a house now? Maybe, but I don't want to. Not yet. I'm not throwing money away on rent. I'm buying flexibility. I can move for a better job. I can handle an emergency. I can invest. My parents think I'm failing at adulting. I think I'm winning at a different game. Look, here's what I need you to understand. Your parents aren't lying to you. They're not trying to hold you back. Every piece of advice they give you worked for them. Loyalty paid off. Houses were affordable. Hard work was visible. Debt was dangerous. Cutting expenses was the only lever. They built good lives following those rules. They're trying to help you build a good life too. But the rules changed, and they don't know it. In 1985, wages tracked with productivity. Work hard, earn more. Made sense? In 22.6, wages flatlined. Productivity soared. Work hard, earn the same. Doesn't work. In 1985, houses cost 2 to 3 times your salary, affordable with one income. In 22.6, houses cost 6 to 8 times your salary, impossible with 2 incomes. In 1985, companies had pensions. They wanted you to stay. Loyalty made sense. In 2026, companies have 401ks. They don't care if you leave. Loyalty is punished. In 1985, college cost $3,000 a year. Work your way through. No debt. In 2026, college costs $30,000 a year. Must borrow. Debt is mandatory. The game changed. Their playbook is outdated. Not wrong. Outdated. And here's the hard part. You can't convince them. I've tried. I've shown my dad the numbers. Wage stagnation, housing inflation. Job market data. He nods, then says, but you still need to be loyal. It's about character. You can't logic someone out of a position they didn't logic themselves into. They emotionally believe loyalty is good, hard work pays off, debt is evil, saving is virtue. These are values, not strategies. You can't argue with values. So what do? You smile, you nod, you say you're right, I should think about that. Then you do what actually works. You job hop every 18 to 24 months until your income doubles. You invest before paying off low interest debt. Because math. You rent until you can actually afford to buy without drowning. You negotiate loudly instead of working silently. You optimize for income growth, not expense cutting. You play the 2026 game, not the 1985 game. And when your parents ask why you're changing jobs again, you say, I got a great opportunity. When they ask why you're still renting, you say, I'm saving for the right place. When they say you need to cut back on spending, you say you're right. I'll think about that. You don't argue, you don't explain. You just quietly win. And maybe in 10 years, when you're debt-free with $100K invested, they'll say, see, hard work pays off. And you'll smile and say you were right, it does. Because you're not trying to change their mind, you're trying to change your life. Their advice came from love, but it would have kept you poor. So you take the love, ignore the advice, and build the life they wanted for you, just with different rules. If this video helped you understand why your parents' advice doesn't work anymore, smash that like button and subscribe. Drop a comment telling me one piece of advice your parents gave you that you're ignoring. Let's see what everyone's parents are saying. And hey, send this to your parents. Maybe they'll get it. Probably not, but maybe. I'll see you in the next one. Let's get it.